Did you know that after the age of 70, the risk of falling increases more from where you walk than how much you walk? According to research from the CDC, 1 in 4 older adults will experience a serious fall this year. And the most dangerous places aren't mountain trails or icy sidewalks. They're grocery stores, buses, shopping malls, even your own living room. Surprised? You're not alone. We often think walking more means staying healthier, but after 70, walking smarter, not farther, is the real key to living independently and safely. In today's video, I'm going to share the 3 most powerful changes you can make right now to protect your health, preserve your confidence, and avoid life-altering falls without giving up your freedom. So, if you're ready to walk less but live more, this one's for you. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any future videos. If you find this topic helpful, comment 1 below. If not, comment 0. I'm always learning with you. Now, let's begin this journey towards safer, smarter aging. 1 step at a time. Let's dive into reframing mobility and aging. As we step into our 70s and 80s, something inside us shifts. It's not just about growing older. It's about learning to see this time in our lives with clearer eyes. Too often, this stage is clouded by fear. Fear of falling, fear of illness, fear of losing our independence. But fear doesn't have to be the lens we look through. What if, instead, we approached aging with awareness rather than worry? Not blind optimism, but a kind of wisdom that says, I know what to watch for, and I'm still going to live fully. Now more than ever, the choices we make each day matter. And the places we go, grocery stores, parks, crowded events, can hold risks we don't always see right away. A polished supermarket floor, a jam-packed bus, or a long line at the pharmacy may seem harmless at first. But the truth is, these everyday places can become dangerous when we're not careful. That's not something to ignore, it's something to plan for. This isn't about avoiding life, it's about showing up with both eyes open. We can still go where we want, do what we love, but let's do it wisely, safely, and with a little more care. That's how we keep living, not just longer, but better. Now, let's go with recommendation 1. Reduce risky walking environments. There comes a time in life when everyday tasks we've done for decades start to feel different. Not necessarily harder, but riskier, heavier. Grocery shopping, for example, has always been a simple errand, maybe even something to look forward to. A chance to stretch your legs, bump into a familiar face, pick out a few fresh apples for your kitchen table. But as we age, these once routine outings begin to carry hidden risks that we didn't need to think about before. The grocery store is a lively place. Bright lights, colorful produce, the warm smell of bread baking somewhere in the back, and shoppers darting around trying to get through their lists. But in the middle of all that motion, the chaos can become disorienting. Our reflexes aren't what they used to be, and the floor under our feet isn't always as safe as it looks. Slippery spots from unnoticed spills, polished tiles with little grip, or even something as ordinary as a shopping cart left halfway into the aisle can become a serious hazard in a split second. At this stage of life, 1 fall isn't just a bruise. It could mean a broken hip, a trip to the hospital, or weeks of recovery that chip away at our confidence. I've seen it happen. A friend of mine, a spirited woman in her late 70s, fell during what should have been a simple afternoon grocery run. The spill was small, nearly invisible, but it was enough. She ended up with a fractured wrist and a lingering sense of anxiety about going out on her own. That fear is real, and it's something many of us quietly carry. But there's another danger too, less obvious but equally concerning: germs. Grocery carts, freezer handles, checkout counters, hundreds of hands touch them every day. For those of us with weaker immune systems, that level of exposure can be risky. A mild cold might not sound like much to some, but for us, it can spiral into something more serious, especially when recovery takes longer and the body doesn't bounce back like it used to. And then there's the exhaustion that sets in. Have you noticed how tiring these outings have become? The long aisles, the noise, the fluorescent lighting. It can all add up. You walk more than you realize, you stand longer than you should, and the sheer size of the store becomes a maze when your legs ache or your balance is off. Fatigue slows us down and opens the door to mistakes, misjudging a step, forgetting where we parked, or missing something important. We must ask ourselves, how do we adapt? How do we continue to do what we need and want while honoring the realities of our changing bodies? One of the best answers is also one of the simplest: reduce the strain. Grocery delivery services have become a wonderful alternative. From the comfort of your favorite chair, you can select what you need and have it brought right to your door. No aisles, no lines, no risk of slipping on a wet floor. It's a modern convenience that offers both physical relief and peace of mind. If you still enjoy the experience of picking your own produce or simply getting out of the house, consider shopping at smaller local stores. They're often less crowded and easier to navigate. And if a large store is unavoidable, go during off-peak hours when it's calmer. Ask for help when you need it. There is no shame in it. Asking for assistance is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of wisdom. It says you value your safety and that you know your limits. And then we must talk about public transportation. Buses, subways, even ride shares can be a lifeline, but they aren't without their challenges. Standing while the bus jolts forward, trying to steady yourself as the subway lurches to a stop, or stepping up into a high stairwell with no railing, these moments can quickly become dangerous. I've known many older adults who've had close calls on public transit, not because they were careless, but because the systems just aren't designed with us in mind. Mental fatigue is another layer. The noise, the crowd, the constant movement, it can overwhelm the senses. It leaves you feeling drained, sometimes even confused. And when the body and mind are both tired, mistakes happen. A missed step, a dropped bag, a forgotten stop. Whenever possible, explore alternatives. Some communities offer transportation services designed specifically for seniors. They are safer, quieter, and more understanding of our needs. If you can, arrange a ride with family or friends. It's not just safer, it's also a chance to reconnect. The same logic applies to social gatherings. We all want to stay connected, but large crowds bring with them exposure to illness, stress, and the physical toll of standing or walking for too long. The noise can make it hard to follow conversations, and the sheer energy in the room can be exhausting. That doesn't mean we shouldn't go. It just means we need to be selective. Smaller, quieter gatherings, or even virtual calls can be just as meaningful. None of this is about giving up the things we love. It's about making smart, respectful adjustments. Adjustments that protect our health and energy. Adjustments that help us live more fully, not less. So as you move through this stage of life, I encourage you to think differently about the spaces you move through and the routines you follow. Look for ease, not just efficiency. Look for safety, not just speed. And don't let pride stand in the way of asking for support. You have every right to live safely, comfortably, and with dignity. There is no shame in adapting, only strength, only wisdom, only love for yourself and the life you've built. If you found these insights valuable, let me know by commenting yes below. Your thoughts matter, and I'd love to hear from you. Recommendation 2. Replace steps with strength and strategy. Traveling is one of life's most rewarding pleasures. It awakens our spirit, gives us something to look forward to, and brings fresh wonder into our lives. But for those of us growing older, that sense of freedom comes with a heavier cost. We don't move through the world the way we used to. Our energy wanes quicker, our bones ache a little longer, and the worry that something might go wrong starts to live closer to the surface. I remember my neighbor Margaret, a widow in her late 70s, who had always wanted to visit her grandson in Colorado. It was supposed to be a sweet reunion after years of phone calls and video chats. She booked the flight herself, packed all her essentials in a neat little carry-on, and even brought along a journal to record her favorite moments. But she didn't realize how much the altitude in Denver would affect her. By the second day, she could barely catch her breath. She ignored the dizziness at first, thinking she just needed rest. But by the evening, she was in the emergency room. The doctors told her it was altitude sickness, something made more dangerous by her heart condition. What was meant to be a joyful trip turned into a week of recovery. She made it back home safely, but she hasn't traveled since. Not because she doesn't want to, but because she's now afraid, and that fear, it's real. Many older adults share it, though we rarely say it aloud. We fear being far from medical help. We worry about getting lost, falling ill, being a burden to others. Some of us even carry the quiet fear of not being remembered if something were to happen. So we stay put, we stop going, we trade adventure for safety. But aging doesn't mean we have to give up exploring. It just means we need to explore differently. We need to plan smarter, listen closer to our bodies, and make choices that honor where we are now, not where we were 20 years ago. That might mean choosing destinations closer to home, booking shorter flights, or traveling during off-peak seasons when the crowds and chaos are lighter. Places with good infrastructure and easy access to medical care should be top of mind. If high altitudes are on the itinerary, ask your doctor first. Your body will thank you for it. And let's not overlook the outdoor experiences we love. Nature is healing, yes, but it can also be unforgiving. Trails that used to feel like a brisk walk can suddenly be treacherous. Tree roots, uneven ground, hidden rocks, they don't care how steady you used to be. They'll trip you up just the same. And out in the woods, far from help, even a small fall can become something serious. Consider parks with level walking paths, public restrooms, benches along the way. Many cities now offer senior-friendly nature excursions. Take advantage of them. You deserve to enjoy the outdoors without putting yourself at risk. The same mindfulness applies to malls, amusement parks, and crowded public spaces. These places may seem harmless, even nostalgic, but the long distances, shiny floors, and noisy environments can be physically and emotionally taxing. Overstimulated senses and tired legs can quickly turn a cheerful outing into an exhausting ordeal. And that feeling of being lost in the crowd, of no one noticing you, can be incredibly lonely. Bring a companion. Ask for help. Take breaks often. There's no shame in sitting down or asking someone to slow their pace. It doesn't make you less capable. It makes you wise. Even the way we move matters. Elevators might be slow, but they're safer than escalators if balance is an issue. If you need support, don't hesitate to use a cane or walking stick. Trekking poles on hikes, mobility scooters in large shopping centers. These aren't signs of weakness. They're tools of independence. For those with limited mobility, technology can offer a beautiful alternative. Online shopping, virtual museum tours, digital nature walks. These tools help us experience the world even from the comfort of home. And while they can't replace the feeling of sun on your face or the thrill of walking somewhere new, they can still bring connection, beauty, and peace. Above all, let's not forget the emotional weight we carry. So many of us feel invisible in a world that moves too fast to see us. We feel overlooked, left out, even forgotten. But the truth is, our lives are still rich with possibility. Our stories matter, our presence matters, and we owe it to ourselves to keep living with courage, even if that courage looks different than it used to. You don't have to travel far to experience joy, but if you do choose to go, go with care, go with awareness, and go knowing that you are not alone. There are many of us walking this path, slower now maybe, but still full of heart, still open to the wonders of life. This stage of life is not the end of the journey, it's a new way of walking it. And with the right care and intention, it can be just as beautiful, if not more so, than all the chapters before. If you found these insights valuable, let me know by commenting yes below. Your thoughts matter, and I'd love to hear from you. Recommendation 3. Create a controlled environment. Did you know that according to a study by the CDC, over 1 in 4 Americans aged 65 and older fall each year, and the risks dramatically increase in unfamiliar, crowded, or physically demanding environments? It's a sobering fact, and yet, it's not one we hear often in the colorful brochures or polished videos that promise us the time of our lives. But for many of us in our golden years, those glossy attractions can sometimes feel like minefields hidden beneath glitter. I still remember a trip I took to San Francisco a few years ago. The Golden Gate Bridge shimmered in the distance, the wind tugged at my coat, and I had my camera ready to capture the magic. But what I also remember, more vividly, perhaps, was the uphill walk from our hotel to the lookout point. What started as an adventure turned into a struggle. My legs cramped, my breathing grew shallow, and I had to sit down on a curb with people bustling past, not one stopping to ask if I was okay. That moment etched itself into my memory more than the photos ever did. It wasn't just the physical strain, it was the feeling of being unseen, like I no longer belonged in the rush of the world I once navigated with ease. Tourist attractions are often built for the young and able-bodied. Long lines stretch into the distance, sometimes for hours. The waiting itself can take a toll on our joints and stamina. There are few places to rest. Once inside, it's crowded. People jostle, pathways narrow, and the noise rises like a tide. It's easy to lose your footing or your companion. There's little room for slowness or hesitation, and yet that's exactly what we need. These places aren't hostile, but they aren't built with us in mind. And let's talk about the weather. A beautiful sunny day can quickly become a threat. Heat, cold, or rain hits harder than it used to. Our skin is thinner, our tolerance lower, What feels like a manageable stroll in the afternoon sun can quickly become a crisis if we overheat or dehydrate. It's not just about comfort anymore, it's about safety. Cities can be even more overwhelming. Downtown traffic, noise, scooters zipping by, uneven sidewalks, and fast-moving pedestrians turn a simple errand or sightseeing walk into a full-blown obstacle course. I found myself clinging to my daughter's elbow, just trying to cross a busy intersection, heart pounding. Not from exertion, but from fear. The risk of tripping or colliding with someone isn't just hypothetical, it's real. One wrong step, one missed curb, and we could end up seriously hurt. Nighttime adds its own challenges. Dimming eyesight makes headlights a blur. Pavement turns into a guessing game of shadows. A theater visit or a dinner out becomes fraught with hazards we didn't used to think twice about. Our balance falters when we're tired. Fatigue makes us clumsy. A misstep on an unfamiliar stair or an unlit pathway can derail our whole evening, and more. All of this doesn't mean we should stop going places or having experiences. It means we must plan differently, and we must give ourselves permission to need help without shame. The same Global Coalition on Aging study that reported high fall risks also emphasized the mental health benefits of travel for older adults. Travel lowers depression, increases engagement, and helps us feel connected. It's not a luxury, it's a source of vitality, but it has to be done with care. One of my neighbors, Elaine, took a solo trip to Colonial Williamsburg last fall. She chose a guided tour that specialized in senior-friendly travel. They scheduled breaks, they had a nurse on staff, there were shaded rest stops, and the walking pace was gentle. She came back glowing, not just from the experience, but from the feeling of being respected, understood, and accommodated. It's out there. We just need to look for it. Virtual tours are another wonderful option. From the Louvre to Yosemite, you can visit remarkable places without leaving your living room. It doesn't replace the smell of pine or the feel of cobblestone underfoot, but it does offer beauty, stimulation, and joy without physical strain. And joy, after all, is what we're after. If you still love the outdoors, opt for parks or gardens with level paths. Seek places with benches. Take a folding stool if you need to. Stay hydrated. Dress in layers. Choose cooler climates or shoulder seasons when crowds thin out and the temperature is more forgiving. Ask for assistance. Call ahead to ask about accessibility. There is no shame in protecting yourself. Live events, like concerts or games, also need care. Loud noises and long walks to your seat can be exhausting. Try smaller venues or community gatherings. They often offer more intimacy, lower volume, and the kind of warmth that's easy to overlook in the rush of big city entertainment. And when it comes to winter travel, be especially mindful. Ski resorts may offer gondola rides and fireplaces, but they also mean cold air, slippery surfaces, and oxygen-sparse altitudes. If you love the snow, snowshoeing or scenic train rides might be safer ways to indulge the season without inviting danger. Or curl up at a cozy lodge, sip something warm, and watch the snowfall from the window. Presence matters more than participation. So many of us carry the silent weight of feeling invisible, of not wanting to be a burden, of trying to prove we can still do it all. But our strength lies not in pretending to be who we once were. It lies in honoring who we are now. We are still curious, still eager, still worthy of wonder. We just walk a little slower and sit a little more often. Let travel be a source of joy, not anxiety. Let preparation be your protection, not your prison. And let the world see that just because we've aged doesn't mean we've stopped living. In fact, we're finally wise enough to know how to do it right. If you found these insights valuable, let me know by commenting yes below. Your thoughts matter, and I'd love to hear from you. Before you go grabbing your sneakers for another walk around the block, hold on, my friend. If you're between 70 and 80, maybe it's time we stop trying to outpace the mailman and start doing something that actually nourishes the mind and spirit. Today's journey wasn't just about walking less. It was about walking smarter. About shifting gears, tuning into what your body needs, and embracing a lifestyle that honors where you are in life without slowing your joy. So tell me, what spoke to you most today? What are you taking with you from this video that might just change how you greet tomorrow morning? Leave a comment below. I read them all, and it means the world to know we're walking this path together. Yes, fewer steps, but still side by side. If this video made you smile, think, or maybe even tear up a bit, go ahead and like, share, and hit that red subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. We've got more wisdom, more laughs, and plenty of heart ahead. You've still got so much life to live, and I'll be right here, cheering you on every step of the way.